Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your September monthly tarot reading. I'm Annie over here at the Intuitive Teacup. We are going to be reading your tarot cards today. Upside down, interesting. Please come into this general reading with an open heart and an open mind. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. If the messages that come through don't seem to resonate true for you, feel free to push them aside. You may want to revisit them at a later date. Sometimes tarot messages make more sense in the future. Let's try and have some fun and get you some insightful messages. I feel like the Six of Wands in reverse was like a separate message in itself. Something that you think is a disappointment or not working out, it's going to be a victory, but it's delayed. And very likely so. I think 6 planets right now are in retrograde. I mean, some of the big planets are frequently, but coming into September, both Mercury and Venus are, which dictate a lot of our daily things, our routine, our schedules, our relationships, our money, things like that. So I feel like there's some sort of personal victory coming for you, but it's a little bit delayed. So don't give up hope. That feels like a separate message in itself. So I'm going to put one more there. Anything else there? The star, even better. Yeah, long-term wishes and dreams coming true. I can already tell I'm tongue-tied because of the Mercury retrograde, but here we go. All right, let's, I guess, start off with romance and dating. So some of you, there's a new start in love. There's like a new prospect. It could potentially be a fire sign, though it doesn't have to be, especially a Sagittarius or someone who has a strong Jupiter in their chart. That could also be Pisces. Yeah, it seems like a very strong magnetic and sexual attraction with the Ace of Wands. To me, the Ace of Wands is kind of the most sexual card in the tarot. So for those looking to improve their sex life with their current partner, that's looking good, or possibly meeting a new connection where you just kind of have this really intense, passionate connection. So that seems exciting, Capricorn. Get excited. Let's see. And yeah, it's almost like this new connect. I do think it's new for most of you. I don't necessarily sense it's from the past, I have to be honest. However, I think judgment is coming through because it's awakening sort of, I don't know if it's an old version of yourself. It could be that, you know, you've been through several relationships and you just feel like you lost yourself in the process, or you just kind of didn't have that verve, that enthusiasm, that groove, right? It's like how Stella got her groove back. There's something here where it's like you feel like alive again. Yeah, your energy and just your chutzpah, your charisma, however you want to say it. There's a lot of confidence too in how you approach this relationship. You don't feel self-conscious or less than or anything like that. It's like, you know, you bring a lot to the table, and I think vice versa. And there's a desire to treat this person very well because it feels like a lucky connection, whatever that means. I'm sort of being called to say that word. And so I don't think there's this fear of, oh my God, I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to lose this person. There's just this natural sense of like, this feels right. This feels like a good one. In a beautiful way, I think this person is going to challenge you to face some of your fears, not just in relationships, just in general. I don't know why I'm getting this, but some of you, it's like something to do with like a fear of height, or I don't know, with Knight of Wands, it's something kind of playful. So like, obviously this won't be for all of you, but it's almost like your fear of roller coasters. This person like loves roller coasters. So they're going to pull that side out of you that maybe is a little bit, cautionary, or however you want to say it, maybe more traditional. I don't know what it is. It doesn't have to be roller coasters, guys, right? That's a metaphor, but there's something about this person where they pull you out of your comfort zone in a really beautiful way, but it's in the name of like fun and adventure, travel. Again, lots of Sagittarian energy here. It doesn't have to be that sign, but what I am getting at is there is that element of Sagittarian type energy in this relationship and this connection, right? So very playful, very lighthearted, optimistic, you know, the world is our oyster. It's a sign that loves travel. It loves knowledge and education and information. It loves sex. It loves being flirty. It loves being kind of naughty. But ultimately, lighthearted energy. It's a sign that, you know, it doesn't necessarily see the value in looking at everything glass half empty or with sort of a negative, even very cautious mindset, which is interesting because that can be more of a Capricornian trait, right? You're ruled by Saturn, so it serves Capricorns very often to be a little bit cautious about things, a little bit wary, a little bit, what's another word for it? approaches carefully, right, with caution. The Sagittarian doesn't do that. And I'm not saying it's necessarily like an opposites attract thing, but in a good way, I think you guys offer a different perspective to the other person, and it makes you like a power couple. It makes you very strong. Now, I'm talking about all this in terms of like dating. I know some of you are in long-term relationships. We'll get into that. Yeah, so for those who are interested or looking or on the apps or trying to meet people, I do see like a really strong connection coming in. Be open-minded though, and willing to get out of your comfort zone. I see so much fire energy here. It's like overwhelming. And yeah, I guess the one thing I am going to mention too is it's not to dismiss it or pretend it doesn't exist. However, this person doesn't have an interest, at least initially, we're talking like, the first few months of dating, to talk about the really serious stuff. And I don't know if that gives you pause or hesitation, because obviously in life there are heavy things and there are, things that are serious and need to be taken into account. But it's almost like that's going to put a damper or a weight on what could be this very fun, playful relationship. So I would encourage my Capricorns out there, maybe some of you have strong Sagittarius in your chart, right? Maybe you're a cusper and you're kind of this fiery energy coming through. I would encourage you guys to veer away from like the really heavy stuff if it isn't like an absolute necessity in the beginning of this, because I feel like that could be a detriment or sort of slow this relationship down when I actually think it has a lot of momentum to build to something really great. Yeah, it's like what's going to kill your vibe. It's like, you're having like this romantic evening and things take a passionate turn and then you're like, and my dog died, or, something like that. It's just like, there's a time and a place for that, and I'm not minimizing it. But yeah, it's like, know when it's not, what's that expression? It's like, I can't think of it. It's like, not know your audience, but more like feel the vibe of the room. Yeah, just be aware of that. Okay, moving on. So here we go. In terms of long-term relationship, you do have a King of Pentacles showing up. So that's sturdy, that's strong. If you're already in a relationship, I think it's going to continue to be sturdy and strong. Let's see. What can I tell you about this? You might be making a big purchase on something regarding arts and entertainment. I don't know if it's like you're putting in, or you're completely redoing like your living room and you're doing like, cool sound systems and all that. I don't know if you're putting money towards going to like a festival or a concert, but there's something kind of like arts and entertainment focused. Maybe you're, I don't know, planning like a trip to New York to see like Broadway plays, or it's something of that element. It's like a good amount of money going towards something fun and entertainment. Some of you are going to take like a meditation class with your partner, or something more spiritual. For some of you, if you're starting a family, it might even be like a Lamaze class, or like a baby class. I don't even know what that's called. I'm not in that part of my life yet. So whatever that's called, like a parenting class or something like that. What else? Some of you are gonna, I'm sorry, there's like such a huge focus on sex in your reading this time, so I can't not mention it. Some of you, I don't know if there's like a class or like a course, or I don't know if you're going to see like a sex therapist, but there's some sort of education or information to improve your sex life. Some of you are, this is completely unrelated, but because I am focused on sort of like the body, some of you or your partner, I think it's your partner, needs to go for like a medical exam. Like there's something that's overdue, and they just, for their health and well-being and for knowing things and being astute and aware and proactive, encourage your person to go get that thing looked at. I don't see anything scary. I just see a message that it's overdue. And really what I'm seeing is that they're scared to go. It's like they're scared to know what's going on. And it's like, knowledge is power, people, right? If you know what's going on, then you can fix it, or you can take some course of action to remedy it or repair it, or maybe it's not scary news at all, right? And I want to really reinforce, I'm not seeing scary news. I'm seeing that your partner is very fearful to go get some sort of exam. If it doesn't have to do with that, it's like your sex life seems to be good, but maybe you want to make it even better. Maybe that's like an area of interest for you. And so you might suggest that conversation to your partner that you want to, I don't know what this is exactly, but I'm going to leave it to your imagination, because if it's your story, you know what it is. Your partner might be a little bit shy to go do that with you because it's such a personal, intimate thing, and they don't necessarily want to like share it with the group or whatever it is. For some of you, it might even be something fun that's like quote unquote sexy. Like maybe you're taking like a fun, Latin dance class or something like that. Something with the body that's very physical. But for something about that, it puts your partner in a position where they might feel a little bit vulnerable. So they might not be as gung-ho about it as you. Let's see. In terms of work and money, you have the Queen of Wands showing up, who is very powerful in terms of money. I like that. What is work looking like? So yeah, I'm not surprised. Work judgment is coming up. So needing to tie up loose ends on a project or a task that has kind of been a long time coming. Judgment frequently has to do with the past. For most of you, I actually see this as, if you're working on something and it's been a long struggle, the Mercury retrograde or Venus retrograde, especially the Venus retrograde, could actually really serve you in going back to revisit it one last time, because I almost see judgment here as some sort of like awakening. It's like you finally hear the bells ringing and you're like, oh, I get it now. I know how to fix this. I have a solution. I think it almost feels very victorious. Like there's these dudes, I don't know if you can see them at the bottom, and they almost look like they're just like, yes, like they're celebrating, like they're really excited that something is coming to a culmination, right? After judgment comes the world, which is all about completions and closure. So you're getting there, but I think it's like we have to like fix that one last thing. And I think you do. Some of you, music is going to be really healing to you in the month of September. So maybe that has to do with incorporating music into your daily routine or meditation, or again, dancing for a lot of you. I don't know if you're taking a dance class. Some of you it's possible you're taking lessons to learn how to play an instrument, but more so than that, I'm just getting the idea of incorporating music into your daily routine, or making time to practice that instrument that you've kind of let fall by the wayside. That's just for some of you. I know we were talking about money. Sorry, I kind of got sidetracked there. What can I tell Capricorn about money? 8 of Pentacles, I like. I mean, hard effort is being put into work as always. I don't see that necessarily changing all that much. Because and I say that because you're Capricorn. I'm being slightly stereotypical here, but I mean, you guys are the hardest working sign of the zodiac, arguably, I would say. So I don't see you having to work any harder. But I see lots of energy being put into work. 8 of Pentacles, you have kind of Mars coming up next to that card too. So I sort of take that to mean that Mars always wants to separate. It's opposed to Venus, which is all about partnership and companionship and relationships. So Mars is about like stepping off on your own, doing something more independent. It could be more entrepreneurial by nature. It could be stepping up into a leadership role, or even if it's temporary, right? It doesn't necessarily mean, you're going to become the boss overnight. But there might be something where you stand out amongst the crowd, or you're doing something to support the rest. Again, there's something kind of separating about Mars energy. The only caution I would give to you is Mars also can bring with it a lot of, in a positive way, it can bring forth a lot of like effort and stamina, but it's also the planet of like war and anger and temper. So it could be that maybe there's a little bit of conflict at work, and it's feeling stressful, and maybe you lash out, or vice versa, somebody does that at you, and it might actually end up kind of manifesting as feeling like you want to separate yourself from the group because of like drama. That's not necessarily a bad thing, as long as it doesn't turn into like pouting. And I have to be honest, I do see that a little bit in the cards with this coming through. So, be honest and open about what you know, about what you don't know, treat others how you want to be treated, all those good things. And honestly, I would say, Capricorn, my biggest piece of advice is if you're wrong, just admit it, right? An apology is easy. It doesn't mean people are going to hold you accountable for that for years to come. I think some of you are worried that you made a mistake and it's going to ruin your reputation. And that is not the case at all. I think some of you, it's like anxiety in your head and like you're scrambling to fix it or cover up the mistake. Just own it. That shows strength of character. That's like a badass, powerful move. And again, just I think by hearing this, you're just going to be more aware of that energy. So, for a lot of you, I think it could manifest very powerfully as feeling like you can step away from the group and kind of cut your own path. And I think a lot of you have been waiting to do that for a bit. There might be opportunity to travel. There might be opportunity for travel. Your boss may specifically ask you to brush up on knowledge or some sort of, I'm hearing like course packet material. I don't know if it's take like an online course to brush up your skills so that it puts you at a more advantageous position for a raise or a promotion, or because they want to put you on a certain project, if that makes sense. You may be pulled aside and the thing is, I think they're going to pay for it. I think it's the sort of like, hey, we're gunning for this for you and we'd really like to do this, but are you able to make time for this? And so that may cut into some of your money this month, which doesn't really make sense to me because I feel like it's being paid for, but maybe it's reimbursement. That could be it. You may have to pay out of pocket for it, but the company reimburses you. That could be it for a lot of you. But your partner seems to really support this. Partner at work, maybe, but I also meant your long-term partner, your romantic prospect, things of that nature. They seem to be a real cheerleader and champion for you in terms of doing this thing at work. So you don't have tons of pentacle cards. The pentacle cards you do have are strong. Do I see new money? Not really. I see a new offer in the future that you don't see coming with the Ace of Cups here, but that I don't see that happening in September, to be honest. I think that's at least 2 months down the road, if not a little bit more. But use that as a motivator, right? Mars is an excellent planet for all the things I say in my tarot readings, like motivation, empowering, inspiring. That's Mars energy at its high vibrational. It's also a planet associated with like coaching, life coaching, motivational speakers, that kind of like, yeah, let's do it, guys. It can be very uplifting energy. So something about that may resonate for you in terms of like your career path in the future. Maybe some of you are looking to be, life coaches or motivational speakers or something of that matter. You might be writing something. I don't know if it's an article or a document or a blog or I don't know, something in writing, something that's maybe a little bit creative that has sort of that Mars energy that I was talking about, where it's really like, hurrah, let's do this. It's like you're trying to get people. I'm sort of getting the idea of swaying people's opinion. I don't know if you're writing like a political piece or you're trying to get people on board with, I don't know, something. But it seems powerful. It seems successful. There's going to be a new moon in that sector of sort of writing and publishing. So it's a good time to get started on that. You might not finish it. It might be like an ongoing long-term project, but I see that being successful. I see money coming to it in the next like month or two, if that makes sense, like maybe reaping the reward of it or seeing some money from that, or I don't really know what it is, but just putting it out there. Yeah, there is a focus on healing, and I use the term medicine very loosely, but healing of the body. Maybe you've just been stressed at work. That can be, I'm really focusing on Mars, that planet Mars. Because there's so much fire energy, it seems like you're going to be busy. And so in terms of healing energy coming through in the cards, it seems like maybe you just need to make time for like a relaxing weekend. When the weekend rolls around, you may be tempted to like schedule everything else that needs to get done, taking care of the kids, the housework, going grocery shopping, all the things, when really I think the universe is saying like, we just need to take a break and maybe delegate those to people who can help. Yeah, you might not be a person who likes asking for help, or I'm going to be honest, you might be really bad at accepting help, but the universe might be saying, hey, allow your partner to step in. If mom, dad, your teenage daughter, whatever is offering to come in and help, let them. That's a sign from the universe that you're supposed to take a break, or, allow others the gift, the good feeling they'll have of being able to help you, right? It's a mutual win-win. So just putting that out there for my Capricorns. I see an Aquarius coming in for some of you to make like a love offer. If it's not a love offer, it could be a job offer, but something with strong Aquarian energy. This person really puts you up on a pedestal and thinks you're like the bee's knees. Definitely feels good for you. It strokes your ego a bit. Are you interested in them though? I don't know. I think you appreciate that they appreciate the finer things in life. There's something very kind of like regal and about them. So Capricorn, I can't. It's like they see dollar bills in their eyes when they look at you. Cha-ching! It's you guys, it's so funny. So yeah, I mean, they really, really like you. I don't know if you feel the same. I think there's, with the Two of Swords, I think there's a little bit of hesitation, especially with that big old moon. There's a little bit of hesitation in how you feel. For some of you, and this is not for most of you, it's awkward because this person either doesn't know that you're already in a relationship or that you're dating someone else, or they do and they're just very flirtatious. So just heads up on that. Don't make it messy if it doesn't need to be. Some of you just need to set firmer boundaries with this person and distance them. It does seem like for some of you, it's like you've already kind of given the person the word that like, hey, I'm not interested. In that case, then you need to reassess how you're going to handle it. I don't know if it involves involving HR or something that's a little bit more like this is a larger issue. I'm just putting it out there. I think you're going to be fine. It's not like stalker energy. It's just like this person doesn't really... They don't pick up easily on hints, or they just like you so much that they have trouble sort of containing that like excitement and flirtation around you. And so for some of you who are single, that's great. Again, though, there's something about that energy that you're just on the fence about. You haven't decided yet. So for some of you, you're still grieving a loss in the family. I don't predict that type of thing. I don't predict anything scary like death or whatever. And when I say grieving a loss, it doesn't have to be death. But coming up in the fourth house of home, there's some sort of final chapter or culmination. You have a full moon happening in your fourth house where maybe there is a moment where you're going to speak about this person's life or honor them in like some memorial or like photo board, or do something that commemorates the life or the energy of something, if that makes sense. Did I say Four of Cups? I meant Five of Cups. But it is the idea of sort of something that we've lost, we no longer have, and we miss it. But at the same time, the best, and you're going to do this with the Ace of Wands next to it, the best course of action is sort of picking yourself up by your bootstraps and being like, but, life moves on, and, we're going to be okay, and things happen for a reason. And, I'm not saying it has to be death, but for a lot of you, it feels like you lost someone in your life. Again, I'm not predicting this. This would have already happened. But it's sort of that idea of, they're in a better place. They're no longer suffering. It's making the best of it despite the loss. And it does feel like there's a lot of hurt, and it feels like there's a piece of you missing. And I do sort of, I give my condolences for that, because there is a heavy energy. The bright side of that is the full moon brings things to full illumination, the darker things that we don't always like to look at. And I think something about that is going to be very healing. I think you're going to be able to put it in some sort of context where you do feel okay moving on slowly. And I'm not saying you're ever going to move on and feel whole again, because, when people leave our life in the earthly 3D world, it's really hard, right? But again, I think your focus is going to be more about celebrating the life versus like mourning the loss. It's a matter of perspective and how you choose to use that energy. And I do think for a lot of you, they say like, healing is not a linear process. That's true. For a while, I think a lot of you were very hesitant to even think about it or look at it or talk about it with the Two of Swords because the wound was too fresh. And that's okay. You didn't screw up the healing process, right? The Ace of Cups here says that you are ready for sort of like an emotional revival or an emotional restart. You got to freshen up that cup so it's not all of like the murky, dark energy. And so with that, it's sort of like the changing of the tides. It's allowing things to pass and go, and then allowing new things to come in. And so it does lead to a happy new start. I really want to reinforce that. But with that, I'm not negating the fact that, you're always going to miss this person. But again, putting that positive spin on it, I think it's going to help you in the grieving process. You may choose to speak to a counselor about that as well, because they may have some more tips and tools and tricks and techniques to help you kind of bridge that gap of feeling okay again and ready to get out there and start fresh. because you never want to be in that mourning, grieving state for too long, because that's going to affect other parts of your life. And, you know that, Capricorn. You know that. All right, let's get you some energy oracle cards for Capricorn. Is there something else in this reading? I see you hanging out with your Taurus friend. That being, in fact, you may have a Taurus in your life who's a really good mentor, partner, friend, companion, someone who's just like they're a pillar of strength, and they're someone you can lean on. Woman holding a coin. Stop it, Capricorn. All right, I'm going to read from the book. I see a little black cat. I feel like that's going to be a sign for some of you. You're going to see a black cat. You're going to be like driving around or walking in your neighborhood, and you'll be like, it's a sign. It is. All right, female connection in money, health, or value. The elegantly dressed woman on this card sits on a beautiful chair holding a bright gold coin. When the card comes upright in a woman's reading, it may refer to her directly and to a successful endeavor regarding her own finances or health. This card could also signal a woman of support or assistance regarding these issues. She may give you financial advice or connect with you or someone who does. Or connect you with someone who does. Sorry, Mercury retrograde. This woman may be someone you meet where you make your money, or it may be a woman of wealth and value. Either way, this card is telling you to be on the lookout for helpful assistance or even the possibility of new love or friendship connected to a woman of wealth or business. All right, very good. And then we're going to do a crystal card. I've done these for all the signs. I'm kind of getting into crystals a little bit more myself. So for those who are into it, we'll see what crystal energy wants to come through, what could be helpful or healing to Capricorn in the month of September. Ooh, pulled that one right. Ooh, the diamond, courage and spirit. All right. The diamond is associated with the astrological signs of Leo, Libra, and Aries, the month of April, and the sun. The diamond is a stone of strength and fearlessness. It promotes inner courage and aids in one's abilities to make meaningful action. It bestows a sense of self-confidence, enhances concentration, and heightens spiritual ecstasy. Ooh, Ace of Wands. I'm just gonna put that there, Capricorn. So if you own a diamond, maybe you have a ring or earrings or something passed on, especially from like a maternal figure or something, right? You know, put it on, see what it does for you. If not, just meditate, right? Think about it in your meditation. That's what I got for you guys for the month of September. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, share on your social media, book a personal reading with me. All those are very helpful. I hope you have a wonderful September, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, Capricorn.